So the bill has been passed. What happens next?
What happens next is, under the Constitution, this bill, it's a very simple bill. It just includes the amendments to go into the Constitution. The exact wording is that sometime between 2 months and 6 months, this referendum will be held with 33 days' notice. The most likely time is suggested sometime in October, but the bill has passed. They must call the referendum in that 4-month window between 2 and 6 months, and if they don't do it, then the bill just lapses.
Okay, so the Prime Minister makes that decision of setting the date.
Yes.
What are the considerations that he has to weigh?
Oh, they'll be avoiding football finals, all the usual things people do, avoiding school holidays, all the usual things they do with calling elections. That's the point. They want it clear of other events is the main thing they're talking about.
So in terms of the yes and no campaigns themselves, when do they get underway in earnest?
Well, I mean, they're basically underway now. Before all this started, they had to address issues to do with the Referendum Act. We haven't had a referendum for 20 years. There was a few things that need to be brought up to date. It still contains this provision that everybody must be posted a yes and no case and the wording of the amendment, and that will be sent out. And so there's a bit of argy-bargy about that. I don't think the wording of the yes and no cases is that important. I don't think people read 2,000-word essays before voting. The question that will be put is the name of the bill, and people will get a ballot paper that looks something like that. It's going to be a bit bigger. This is just a small version I got from a previous referendum, and it will say a proposed law to alter the Constitution to establish, to recognise First Peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice, and then it will say, do you approve of this proposed alteration? And you write the words yes or no in a box. And so that's what will happen. There'll be a yes and no case go to everybody, whether people read it or not. That's the wording in the ballot paper they'll get, and they write yes or no. They're added up. The referendum has to pass nationally, and more than 50% of the national vote has to get more than 50% of the vote in 4 of the 6 states. And if it meets those criteria, the words in the bill are inserted in the Constitution. If it doesn't pass, then nothing changes.
So as an election analyst, what will you be watching out for the next weeks and months to come?
Well, the normal way that referendum polls work here and in many other countries is that there's general support for the principle at the start, and you find there's a yes vote, and as you get closer and closer to election day, the vote tends to drop. I've seen that in New Zealand, in England, in Scotland, and many times in Australia. That's the way it tends to work. So the question is whether the yes vote will maintain itself through to the referendum day.